Hello, this is Dave Green again. I am recording in San Antonio, Texas. Today is the 31st of January, 2026. Moving right along here. This particular tape will be a shorter recording. This is some stuff that had come to me earlier in the week. It's been kind of brewing the last few days or so. Um, we've gotten quite a bit written down, and then we got quite a bit stored up here. But we'll see what happens here with spirit, how it comes out. This again is a spin off on the um, being able to understand ego, and being able to understand uh, who humans are, and then spirit, your soul. So this is really big stuff here. This is really big. We're going to have to utilize this, um, not just analyze it. So let's start it off and see how this goes from spirit. So the human, to accomplish our own spiritual work and to end up being whole, to be found. We all want to be found, lost and seek right here, and we all want to rest, rest. Um, we're like pawns on a chessboard. Ego is the player. Ego is the movement into the human world, and yeah, we're having to move before the force of ego uh, won't let us go but in certain directions on the chessboard. And then there's only certain moves that we can make as humans. We are not infinite. Human is not infinite, all knowing, all power. So we got a lot of limitations here, just like you have on a chessboard. If you've ever played chess, you know what I'm talking about. Now, I want to try to get this thread just right. So ego. It came to me that ego is the reason we're seeing the human Dave showing up on this video. Um, you see, for human beings, we would be in the human world. We would be absolutely done for if there was no ego. So when we do it to ego, we get rid of ego. uh, there won't be anything left to the human. And let me help you out with this a little. In other words, think about it. How important ego is. I mean, it moves us throughout our days. Let's take work for instance. We couldn't get up and get dressed and get ready to or drive without ego um, being present. There'd be no motivation. There'd be no motivation. There wouldn't be any money to earn. There wouldn't be any satisfaction because we'd gotten rid of ego. There's no real genuine desire to be able to be recognized for certain qualities in the workforce, let us say. So we, as humans, we would really have a real difficult time functioning without ego. So is ego bad? Well, in the human world, no, it's not. It's needed. So it's neither good nor bad. So it's just needed. Okay. So remember that, needed. Yeah, because when we utilize ego, uh, we are we are using type that type of motivation. We're using it somewhat righteously. So this righteousness of ego would be where we're using it, it is not using us. We're using ego to accomplish certain things in the human world. But we know what happens when ego uses us. We have countless um, people through history, Genghis Khan, Adolf Hitler. It goes on and on and on and on. So there's ego completely unrighteous, completely self-will run riot. I've heard just 100% of ego run riot. Yeah, that's pretty tough, man. That's when we're being used by it or utilized by ego. It is running rapid. It is doing things that it was never supposed to do. So when I'm saying this is the creation of ego comes from the other side, but it's a totally different aspect. In God's world, it's actually uh, it's a good thing to have. I mean, it's there. Okay, it's there. It's just used properly there. If they and the other side, they don't have no idea of it being bad because they know not of Adolf Hitler. There was never or there will be Adolf Hitler in the true universe. So these are some examples. This is also letting you know about where in the garden and all this stuff was ego actually cultivated, raised, bloomed, and used for food, used for energy, because that's all food does in the human body is turn to energy. So now let's get back to ego, where we are with it today, 2026. You can dissolve the ego, as I was saying, and it will dissolve the mankind. And with it dissolved mankind, now we can call it Godkind. Godking. Godkind. Yeah, that's what came to me from spirit. That is the essence of all things hoped for right there. For those that are sick and tired of being sick and tired as a humankind. So take out remove man, add God, and keep the kind. And there you go. Just like that. You got the identity, baby. Let me tell you. And so we shaped man and woman into form. And how, I mean, let's think about this form. You're seeing me on a camera. You're not seeing the God kind. The God kind is operating within consciousness, but you're only seeing mankind. And that's all you will see here. Okay. If I look just like this, I'm a man. Now, when Christ appeared to the followers after resurrection, he was appearing as Godkind. And so, but they saw him. Mankind saw Godkind, and it was operating the same space, same dimension of time and space. Those humans knew their time. Of course, the true God kind, there is no time. It was just there, but it was not being held by any kind of time, or it would have stayed there. And along with all the other properties that go along in mankind. Okay, so try to think in terms of kinds: mankind, Godkind. Okay, and then you'll see the difference. So we can't change this Godkind and make it into this mankind, make it into Godkind on this planet. It's got to come from the other dimension of time and space. Now, when healings happen, okay, we see healings. What you are seeing is a picture of what Godkind looks like. Okay. But it's only being able to be seen through the human eyes. And there's like filters and all kinds of other stuff to not be able to see the real, true Godkind, the true body. Okay. So, I mean, even though they could see the Godkind Christ appearing in front of them, it was not the same one that if they had different eyes to see. Okay, in other words, they had their own God kind eyes. They were seeing. We can see on the other side when we're there in the spirit world, and we get there in and out all the time. So, so how did you know what to make them look like? I mean, they even appear in our human dreams. These human kinds. Uh, have you ever noticed in human dreams how sometimes they kind of take on different aspects? Maybe an extra finger or two, maybe able to fly, where most humankind can't really fly unless it's on an aircraft of some kind. And but yet it does in the dreams. Yeah. And so that's what we're seeing is we're seeing mankind without Godkind. And so there are properties that are showing up with the healings, as mentioned just a moment ago, but that's only proving that there is a resurrection. What is a healing? It's a resurrection to perfection. And the highest perfection we can get here is basically seeing what we think in humankind as a healthy body. Okay, not deformed or anything like that, not sick, but without disease. Yeah, and so there you got the form that was created by the ego, and this ego, when its self will run riot, it forms it to as close as what it could be seen in God's creative universe, because there are parts of it remembers from the soul. The body doesn't remember because it's never been there, but the soul brings in a certain amount of knowledge and it's able to pick up on that. And so when you see um, mankind, you are seeing through a glass darkly, and that's just the way it is. Um, we're constantly seeing through that glass darkly. It's close, but no Russell, no cigar. Sorry for Russell fans out there. But you're getting close, yeah. And so this is something that came to spirit, and I could actually see what these humans were up to with this ego thing, see, and how they were being run by ego. They were not running ego for their benefit. They were being used by ego and not utilizing ego. So meditate upon that. Um, yeah, and so there you got it on God time is what we're all seeking here. And so what's different about these two things? Well, let me tell you. Um, I can bless the entire world as I walk upon the earth. You're seeing this human here as he gets in and moves around the earth. Okay, well, the soul is in the human, and the human is walking, running, sitting down, flying on an aircraft, space shuttle, whatever. Then every day, while the soul is within the reach of this reflection, this dark, likely body. Okay, several things of will come about. One is a separation of soul from walking. In other words, my soul is more like it's out away from this body. Let's visualize it just like a little ball right up here above my shoulder. And it kind of follows me everywhere I go. Now, the consciousness in that ball, if it's Christ consciousness on earth, as in heaven on earth, as yeah, as it is in heaven, okay, but on earth, it's kind of floating around, okay, and it's right up above me. So it's not this thing. It's outside of it. Okay, it's falling, but it's invisible. You can't see it, but we can kind of imagine it being there. And so as this body's moving and doing and talking and interacting with other humans, the soul being outside is able to transmit through the world, and everything can be changed. That's where your 10 good men can save a city. Well, one can save it with the right consciousness in the ball. So the soul does the work once it's separated from the walking man. So the man's walking down the street. He's passing different stores. It's a downtown area, major metropolitan, or it could be just a small rural town. It doesn't matter. But as the man walks down the street, or the woman, of course, then what's happening here? Well, soul is out, but soul's close. And in that closeness, these human eyes, as they're scanning and seeing things here in this worldwide chess game going on, as it's making its moves, the soul is able to reach out to other souls, give it a boost, or we'll call it grace, because the soul itself is not generating it. It's God made all this stuff, the boost, the grace, whatever, but it's coming through that. And so it's very important to know that so much can be done in the mankind world by the Godkind consciousness that's falling around it. Another reason why it's falling around it is well, let me just say this man that's walking down the street, and then the soul ball is right up above him, okay? This man can be performing evil deeds or good deeds, what humanhood calls evil or good, okay? And it does not matter. The behavior of the human being does not matter. Grace can still work in that field of time and space. It's entered it through the human, and it's being able to go out to other humans and do healing work. It could be healing of their mind, healing of their consciousness, healing of enlightenment, to give them some more enlightenment than they had the day before on the spiritual nature of their own soul and others, and God's kingdom, not this kingdom. So all of this is so encompassing here. And so what's happening is, since we're not trying to make humans anything, we're letting a human just go do whatever it wants to do, whether it's acting in a what we would call a rude, evil type of person, or if it's one of those do-gooders that we talk about on our group reading. Joel talked about it in a couple of books, do-gooders, okay? There's another Russell. Yeah, you're all going to want to know who Russell is. Well, you have to come to our Zoom pods and just find out who this Russell is. It does exist in the human world. So what I'm trying to get to here, the soul is able to focus 100% on its works. It does not get distracted. We, for years, have focused on trying to make a man spiritual, change it, make it what we call good all the time, get rid of that evil part of it. That's a lot of force. That's a lot of energy. That's a lot of, how do how do you change this type of creature? You would think by now, of as long as man's been around, well, the uh, Homo sapien, 10, 20, 200,000 years, some readings say it's a long time for a human. And you would think by now it would be perfect or close to it. But really, man is operating about the same as they did. They got all these new inventions and stuff, but the inside of the man is still clicking the same way as it clicked 2,000, 5,000 years ago. No, there's no one that's made any kind of real great um, do-gooder. Yeah, any great do-gooder. Uh, so in the past, we have been trying to focus so much on making sick humans well, evil humans good, poor people wealthy. All these things, we've been spending time and energy trying to recreate them, and we have not succeeded. So now what we do is something different. We're still going to try to recreate something, or better yet, to bring our Windex and clean the window so we can see the proper human being that's not a human being, but a God kind. Okay. So, yeah, you bring the Windex. Have you ever gone to a zoo and they have, it looks like plexiglass, or, I mean, this stuff is really strong so that the tiger on the other end that came from India, Africa, or wherever, the tiger can't break through and get to you. But then it gets kind of bad weather out there and picks up some mud or whatever, dust in the air, and gets the window dirty where you're at the zoo trying to look into that exhibit. Okay, that's the glass darkly, and then you take the Windex and clean that off. Man, you can really see really good. Okay, and it can really change the way that these things look like just by having a clean window. And so that's what we're doing is we're cleaning out our conception. Okay, and we're looking for Godkind. We're no longer looking for mankind. It has utterly failed. Why do we want to look for mankind? And it's not gonna. It is still gonna die. So why are we going to try to heal mankind? And so there you have it. This is the nice thing. As you're watching your own body make mistakes, or what we think are up here, what we think mistakes are, like being evil, being bad, or ornery, or road rage, or whatever, or just chewing someone out on the phone because our order didn't get here on time. Little whatever it is. Stop trying to mess with it. Let it do its thing. It will be on the phone for an hour arguing with some person half the way around the world, but just let it do its thing. But the ball can focus in on both of the illusion, the one that's arguing on the phone and the one that's on the receiving end getting chewed out. And so as we walk downtown and walk by all this action going on, this is what's being cleaned up. Okay, because you cannot violate a spiritual truth, no matter how much this illusion thinks it's great. It cannot defeat that. Okay, sooner or later, it's going to be clear and it's going to be different. Okay, and yeah, so they crucified the man named Jesus. So there was this glass between the followers and Jesus, okay, and then it turned to Christ, and there it was totally on the other side of the glass. And then the followers got some Windex and cleaned off the glass, and there was the Christ showing itself, showing its scars. That was only an exhibit of where it had allegedly been prior to that. So, body is not sinning. In other words, it's usually the mind that makes the body sin, what we humans call sin, bad deeds, not do-gooders. Okay. Okay. So it's not my body doing it, it's the mind running the body. So the Christ body is not governed by an ego, out of control ego. It's governed by a controlled ego. Yeah, so it's still out there. It's just being utilized different. It's not being, like I said, self-will run riot. And so these are the things that we are able to grasp hold and realize that we can actually use this to our favor as use this body here, Dave. As Dave is walking by two people arguing in that street, Dave is able to work on all three, Dave and the two people arguing. And that is by knowing the truth of Christ consciousness, that all that's just an illusion and I'm not buying into it. The same thing with Dave. When Dave is acting rude, evil of any kind, or even good. So it applies to both ways, positive, minus. Okay, it's all the same. But we're going to use evil because we're used to us wanting to change evil people, right? We want to reform them. Okay, so to reform them, we think we got to change them. Remember, it's not the body. If someone goes and robs a bank, it's not the body picking up a handgun and going in there demanding money. It's the ego that's in control of the human brain. And the human brain is telling the body to pick up a gun and hold it and write a note to give to the teller. To give me all your money because this is a holdup. Because I'm not a do-gooder. Yeah, I'm a bad doer. Okay. And so but whatever Dave's doing in that action, Dave can be blessing everyone concerned within the range of that happening. Okay, that film shot right there. Okay, that episode was based on. And so I think this has been really important for me because I've never really looked at it where I can now see through the glass darkly that Dave is doing things from a illusionary response, but the soul can actually, knowing the truth that Dave is neither good nor bad, it just is, can change a lot. Even though I'm not trying to change anything here in this world, but it can change. And when it changes and we see it, the bad person now becoming a do-gooder, we're just seeing a small portion of what the real universe looks like because it knows no evil. So good doesn't even need expression. Some of the early mystics in the 16, 15, 15, yeah, 1500, somewhere in there. They were touched by spirit and illumination, and they could remember these little things like like I said, because you forget most of everything, but the few things they could remember or that came to them, they were able to write down, was that evil was necessary in order to let good know just how good it was. Because if there's no evil, but there's good, does anybody appreciate good? So there was some kind of experiment here between that stuff, and it just got all screwed up. So we need to clean out that. Someone's knocking on my door. Let me pause this. Okay, sorry, I'm back though. Had a humanhood mankind event knocking on my door. So, but yeah. So now I'm able to see, but not see. What I'm able to see are their souls that are working in these other bodies, and I can see them, acknowledge them, and I can also pray with them, pray for them, be with them, and all because the body's helping me because I'm paying attention to it, either being a do-gooder or being an evil. So stop trying to change the body or the scene. Instead, see it the scene as a mirage, and that it doesn't even exist. And so this stuff is not real. What's going on here? And now I can see it, but I see the real true bodies that are being played out here, and I can now see through that glass darkly, and it goes for good stuff as well. Because let's say I found a mountain of gold. Okay, that was what humans would think is good, right? But then, as if I get the gold, I'm thinking, well, I got more than enough for my lifetime. But if I want to share it with the world, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. So it's really not a good thing. And now it's an evil thing because I can't share it with my brothers and sisters. Yeah, I don't have enough. In God's world, we have everything and we are all sharing everything. Here, we don't have that scenario. There's a limit. We are bound by the rules of the chessboard. Knight, what is it, two up and one to left or right or something like that, or go back two and left to right. I mean, it's not free. That knight is not free to move about that chessboard, and so the humans are not free, whether it looks like a good move or an evil move. So we're not who we think we are, or we're not who others think they are as well. We went over that in the last tape. Okay, the facet tape. Yeah, the facet tape. All right, so we're out of here. We talked. Oh my goodness, this was a lot longer than I thought it would be. But hey, just know that it's not what it appears to be. And maybe soon you will catch this. Maybe you're catching it right now. I hope so. I will have you in prayer, that's for sure, all that see this and hear it. I ask it to be done in the name of Christ Jesus. Amen. Thank you.